Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to SimTrax Broadcasting. We come to you live here tonight with the USORL series for the Loveable Critters Company 300K, or the 300,000 out there, as we are waiting for our guys to finish up their qualifying runs out there. Keeping an eye on Steven Merzlak as he is heading back to the pits. Cal Loveball finishing up his final lap out there in the number 5 Ford, currently sitting in 11th for a quick start for him. Looking to see where Noah Joyce is going to end up as well in the 31 Toyota. Garrett Sidnor, we're still waiting for him to lock down a time, but here at Talladega, I would say qualifying just about doesn't matter out there unless you're looking to see if you can reach out and grab some bonus points out there. Drivers can start all the way from the back of the field, and in a matter of 2 to 3 laps, if not one lap, we can move up at least 10 to 15 positions if you choose and play your cards right. A previous winner here at the Talladega Speedway here is Douglas Ross, who's joining me here in the booth, which should be an interesting take on the race here tonight, as we've seen many guys out here have an opportunity, but I have never seen any actually go back-to-back here at Talladega. We go from all the way back with Season 2, where Ray Tustin, John Poole, Trey Coleman, Jay Oakley, John Peterson are just a couple of the winners that we had seen win here before, but never two-time winner. So, Douglas, how hard is it to win here at Talladega?
Well, I can tell you this: Talladega is a challenging track in itself, because yes, it is a super speedway and it does bring high speeds, but it can really test people's patience when it comes to the high grooves of Talladega. We're going to be seeing 2 to maybe even 3 wide action tonight. People trying to go to the front really early. So it's just going to be a matter of who has the most patience for this track.
I would say I would be rather disappointed to see this race not go 3 wide here at Talladega. As wide as it is, as smooth as this track, as smooth as it is, no matter what cars you're racing, whether we're in the 87s, whether we're in the Xfinities, even the Cup cars, this track really isn't as rough as it seems. It's just that speed and picking the right person to follow along with. We'll find sometimes that drivers will end up finding their best friend out there or their teammate, and they won't leave their rear bumper for the entirety of the race. And that's exactly what you're going to see, is this 2.5-mile track definitely either makes friends or makes enemies out here, and I would say everybody's your friend until the last lap, and that's where that dog leg comes in hand. There's a lot of last lap passes and a lot of hearts broken right there at the start-finish line, which oddly enough is on the straightaway right before you start heading into turn number 1. It is not in the middle of the dog leg like everybody would assume. So let's go ahead and take a look at what our race is going to consist of tonight, as our drivers are getting through their drivers meeting currently, and they'll be able to go ahead and lay down a couple more laps out there to see how they are going to fare at a 130-degree track temp. So I would say super slick out there. They're going to be having some trouble out there, and maybe we'll hope, cross our fingers, we'll hope we don't see a whole lot of yellow cautions out there tonight. Green flag racing is my favorite kind of racing here at Talladega, but they'll have 70 laps to do it. 3 sets of tires in the pits, and that will also go for our 3 attempts at overtime. If we end up getting close enough where we're 3 to go, caution comes out, we're going to have 3 green-white checkers. But they're going to go ahead and make this more about the racing than of the pit stops. Their fuel capacity will be about 100% out there, so we may be looking, if not 1, but 2 pit stops out there. I think we're looking at a fuel window of somewhere between 26 and 30 laps, depending if they're in the draft. If you got a guy who's leading most of this race, he may be coming in sooner than later. And, of course, being no fast repairs, they've got to be careful out there. Talladega always brings the big one, and that's going to be really tough, especially when these guys are running fixed setups out here. They can't lower the suspension, they can't change any of the tire pressure or anything like that to try to see if they can slow these cars down a little bit, but still have enough speed to get up to the front. At 9 miles an hour wind, I don't think it's going to be that big of a concern out there. I don't think it's going to push them close enough or on exit of these turns to really cause that much of an issue here at Talladega. So really, we kind of come here to the Alabama Mile where drivers get over 200 miles an hour. Pretty exciting stuff to see, especially when you got drivers like Colby Martin and Scott Fleener, who have been on a tear here as of today. Right now, we are currently seeing the 94 there of Colby Martin and the 52 machine, who is currently following right behind him. I know the 52 out there of Jace Nelson, and would love to have a great race out here tonight. Haven't seen much of Jace. He's been pretty quiet. Both these gentlemen here are normally toward the back end of the field, but I would say the super speedways here, Douglas, it definitely levels the playing field.
Oh, most definitely. When it comes to Talladega, it's an even playing field for every single one of these drivers, so you never know. We might end up having a surprise winner tonight.
All right, what would the key to winning being at this track? I know we talk patience out there. Picking the right lane, picking the right line, and picking the right team to kind of roll along with out there. But I would say, even though, if you end up getting marched out, you head to the back. I mean, how do you find the right groove to get back forward? If you end up caught in the big one and now you've got some aerodynamic damage and you still survive, how do you keep chugging along out there on the track without being, oh, my night's over, and that's kind of it? How do you keep going and try to go out there and still win the race?
I can tell you what, you were mentioning when you get held back into the field, like if nobody works with you and you end up going way into the back of the field, don't lose your mind and think that your race is over, because it could be plenty of time just to make up the ground and all that. Tonight, you also have to make sure you find your teammates out there, because if you don't have teammates, it's going to be even harder to try and pick up something here. So we could end up seeing teammates working together, or even if worse comes to worse, we can end up seeing different manufacturers working together, like we're seeing Jace Nelson and Colby Martin working out on the track together in the draft. So many possibilities can end up playing out tonight. And also, one of the other key things that we're going to have to watch is the pit stop. You were mentioning 26 to 30 laps probably is going to be the pit stop window. It's not going to be about tires tonight. It's going to be about the fuel mileage. So it's going to be interesting to find out.
Even pit strategy with not taking tires, I could trip a few of these guys up as we take an eyeball out there and look at Hen Bordeaux and Scott Fleener go in, knocking down the last lap before their warm-up has completed here, and we'll go ahead and get to our starting grid here in just a moment as soon as Barney is ready out there in the flag booth, trying to think he's making sure he's getting everybody back in there, and we'll get ready to go here in just a moment. Last time we were here at Talladega, Davey Hazard was the winner here of this race. Tommy Bordeaux is a previous winner as well. We'll see, hopefully we'll see, I think, checking out here in our deal, neither one of those gentlemen are here. Steven Merzlak was back all the way to season 8, and I thought I saw him out here practicing. I believe he'll be in the back, way in the back. And Darren Ingram as well. But Ingram had a bit of a better qualifying time out there for his race here tonight. So let's go ahead and take a look at our starting grid, as this is definitely going to round up to be an interesting one. Let's go ahead and get it kicked off here to see where all your favorite drivers start. Well, Michael Murata will be starting in the number 1 spot next to Scott Fleener for row number 1. Moving on to Darren Ingram, like I said, he was our Season 7 winner. He'll be starting 3rd next to Huang Do, who currently sits in 4th. Moving back to Joseph Wiedever and John Peterson. Peterson, hey, not bad. Well, for JPR Racing right now, I already see a fan out there of Jay rooting him on. He'll be starting in that 6th spot. Daryl Harris starts 7th next to Hen Bordeaux. Moving on to Andrew Hennessy. Glad to see him returning back. I would say it always brings everybody out of the woodwork here to the Alabama Mile. Moving on to Zach Krastowski, rounding out our top 10. Justin Krzyzewski sits in the 11th next to Cam Barnes. Now, hopefully Cam Barnes is able to keep any kind of blinking under control. I know he has been missing some races here as of late. Barnes returning back to the chase here tonight. Let's see how he does. Moving on from the rest of the field, Luke Smith, low qualifying time here, the same as Noah Joyce. A little unusual to see such a fast driver sitting so far back here in the pack. We will see some guys drop to the inside line and probably go ahead and let the rest of these drivers sling in front of them, and they'll deal with them later. Moving on to Austin Spencer, who sits 15th, next to Cal Lovell. Colby Martin, 17th, next to Steven Merzlak. Moving on, and Antonio Ruiz and Kaloa Hankins out there in the 20. Eduardo Muniz sitting in the 21st, next to Hunter Johnson. Moving on to Garrett Sidnor, sitting 23rd. And good Lord, I tell you what, William Page starting in the 24th position is a pretty big surprise for even us here in the booth. Finishing out the remainder of this field is going to be Jace Nelson, currently sitting in that 25th spot. Right now I'm showing Hunter Johnson maybe starting from the pits, and there's one thing you don't want to do is be starting outside the draft at the beginning of the race. Right now we see the pace car working his way on off the track here. On off the track, I like that. What am I talking about here? All right, let's get ready to get this one underway, as I can't wait to see this one get under green. Michael Murata will be getting us started. And notice he's in that 62 machine, sitting down there on the bottom. Chevrolet sitting first. Scott Fleener's Ford sitting second. Darren Ingram's Toyota sitting in third. Green flag is out, and away we go. And out in front, right now, Michael Murata gets a great jump here, as it is definitely working out very, very well for him here. Getting at least a decent lead here. Joseph Weaver does have some separation there from Darrell Harris, but don't count Harris out. He's going to go ahead and build a little bit of a bubble here, get a decent run there to the inside, and watch him start moving the inside line. Outside doing just the same there as they starting to reel it up. We see Zach Krastowski finally pulling into the range here. And who already is breaking to the outside for the third lane? Yeah, none other than Cam Barnes. I'm not surprised here.
Surprise indeed. Cam Barnes trying to make that third and high line work, and following right behind him is Noah Joyce, giving him a little bit of a help. But will that outside line stay forever? No, they won't, as it looks like Cam Barnes will settle back into the outside line with Noah Joyce moving in front of Zach Krastowski.
And what can you do to try to fend off that outside line when they do decide to start pulling around? I normally say once the track heats up, you start seeing that outside line work. That is not going to be the choice here tonight. The track already at 130 degrees. This is going to be beautiful racing here. Seeing that already that outside line is working like a charm. Look at Cam Barnes. That moves him from 12th to 2nd here. Battling for the lead as the 49 of Scott Fleener continues to churn forward. And look at this. Still going side by side up front. Right now the 62 of Michael Murata, who started this race in the lead, is trying to regain it back, but Scott Fleener's going to hold it as we head into the dogleg.
Into the dogleg now, and it looks like the middle lane is going to die down a little bit. Huang Do leading the middle lane. Cam Barnes right now still leading the outside lane, and it looks like he will go to the lead. Noah Joyce will be following suit, and it looks like they got backup on the outside line, because it looks like that is Andrew Hennessy and Cal Lovell joining them in that third lane.
Yeah, not only that, but I believe that's also the 39 of Luke Smith now coming into play here on that outside line. He is. Yep, that's the 39 starting to squeak in as we move up to the Goodyear blimp view. Look at this. 3 wide for almost 4 rows back as that outside line continues to roll forward. I do want to tip our hat out there to Cam Barnes. For the first time I've seen the outside line not give up and drop down to the inside. Cam Barnes is sticking to the outside where he knows he's getting it, finding his success, and he is keeping the guys behind him. But who squirts out? That's going to be Noah Joyce. He goes down there trying to make it now 4 wide, and that's going to cause a little bit of a trip up right there on the bottom where Scott Fleener, who had the lead there for a moment, but nope. He's going to have to head back to the drawing board as Huang Do comes down, cuts in front of him, and now we're back to it as the Buckeye machine continuing on now has the lead.
Huang Do trying to insert himself into that lead onto the inside line. Following right behind him is Scott Fleener, and our pole sitter Michael Murata settling back into the third spot on the inside line. But it looks like Noah Joyce may be in a little bit of trouble, as it looks like he is stranded right there in that middle lane.
Yeah, also in that middle lane, looking at the Cheez-It machine here of John Peterson. At 43, trying to see if he can get some work done here. Needs some help from Hankins, who's currently sitting behind him in that 72 Chevrolet. There we go. One more driver sitting in that middle lane. Here we go. That should be able to give these guys a decent run to start pushing forward. But notice, we are getting on to lap number 5. I know I'm going to say it, but hopefully it doesn't come back and bite me. Right now, we are seeing 5 laps that these guys have been 3 wide, no caution, no bumping and banging. Finally, we're seeing some racing out here where guys are showing what they can do. What I am blown away to see is how Cam Barnes is falling back here so early, especially on that outside line. Where in the world did that outside line just absolutely disappear? But right now, Cam Barnes still holding on with Cal Loveable behind him. Luke Smith sitting in that 3rd spot on the outside, and we're looking to see, does he have a 4th? Had, but it looks like they've gone ahead and petered out. That's going to leave Huang Do to the lead. Scott Fleener and Andrew Hennessy going to battle it out here for the 2nd and 3rd spot. Andrew Hennessy getting the nose out there as they come here to the line. That's going to go to Hennessy to lead lap number 5. Hennessy, Huang Do, Joyce, Fleener, and Peterson holding on 1 through 5.
Andrew Hennessy trying to insert his name into that lead, but Huang Do is still holding good on that inside line. He will edge himself out into the lead. Will Scott Fleener try to give him a little bit of a push, but watch the outside line again, because here comes Cam Barnes with Cal Loveable coming to help him.
What a beautiful race we're seeing here so far. Appreciate you guys joining us here at Simtrax Broadcasting. We're 3 wide for 4 rows. This is impressive. Right now, Cam Barnes holding steady, and this guy, I would almost say, that is a fantastic guy you're going to want to push. He is solid out like a rock out there, and he is not seeming to budge a bit. I would say he might want to, around that dogleg turn, drop down just a little. He is, unfortunately, sacrificing a lot of door draft, and I think that may be where their Achilles heel is here for that outside line to start capitalizing and pushing farther forward, which unfortunately drops Cam Barnes to the 9th position. But here they come down the backstretch, and this is where they start making some headway. Cal Loveable gives a good shove to Cam Barnes. Luke Smith starting to make up some ground, and there's our anchor sitting in that number 52 of Jace Nelson. Currently up 13 positions of the race, so he's already cut this track in half, as he is way back from where he originally started in the 25th position. Now he's up to 13th and still holding on, but that is pretty impressive when we are seeing drivers all the way from the number 1 down to the 14th position in less than half a second.
Most definitely, and while we're actually talking about that in the front of the field, we got to focus on one guy that is coming from the back of the field and making his way towards the front. We're talking about Steven Merzlak in the 71. He is really, really coming with a full head of steam, and he is right now on that outside line trying to make something work.
Yeah, would love to see Merzlak come back into it here. Remember, Merzlak actually was our Season 8 winner. Right now, I'm kind of seeing him peter in and out. Trying to hold on to it, though, but man, oh man, right now he's currently sitting in that 15th spot in that Simrap market machine, following behind the 60 there of Joseph Weaver. Now, Weaver looking a little bit loose here. I don't know if his race car is having some trouble out there, but his Ford is giving him some problems. Ooh, Cam Barnes getting cut off there. Now Barnes is having some trouble. Barnes now switches it up, down to the middle. I don't think he's real happy with the move, the 72 of Kaluwa Hankins. Moves to the outside. Wow. All right. Cam Barnes now going to go back to the outside again. Noah Joyce trying to see if he can join back up here with Cam Barnes. So interesting move here by our drivers. Let's sit along here with Luke Smith and kind of get a good feel for what these guys are doing here on the racetrack. There's a lot happening out here on every lane. Does look like Luke Smith has a solid race car, though. Notice that steering wheel isn't jerking around a whole bunch out there. This is a rather smooth track, so it's feeling pretty solid out there for him. No trouble. If he were having any kind of herky-jerky movement, we would definitely be able to tell now. Is that in his middle lane starting to really move forward? Not bad there. Luke Smith looking back.
Now we have a new name popping into the leader's position. That would be John Peterson, who is right now trying to edge out ahead of Andrew Hennessy. Peterson right now on that outside line with Cal Loveable giving him a good push down into the outside line.
Huge scrub here. Cam Barnes had dropped all the way down to the 18th position. As it looks like that outside lane, no one interested in continuing to help. William Page still rolling out there in that Calios machine that we saw him out there at the Roval. He's going to help charge forward, see if he can get his 42 Ford to help him out there. Right now, unfortunately, it looks like they are kind of by themselves out there. now hopefully see if they can continue on. Let's check out the Cheez-It machine as he now has the lead. Cal Loveable sits right behind him, and Luke Smith behind that, sitting on the outside lane. Right now, it looks like we are going to run onto some lap traffic here. Hunter Johnson in some trouble. Now, here's the difference in and out of the draft. Right now, Hunter Johnson is currently running 175 miles an hour. Everybody behind him running just under 192. Here they come. He's going to hang to the outside lane. Try to stick as close to the wall that he can. Not cause any problems. Great job here. And that's what happens. Hopefully he's able to pull in, and he'll be able to rejoin this race. If there is a caution, he'll be back onto the lead lap. But he does not want to lose the draft again. And Douglas, you know, when you're kind of caught outside the draft, you want to find kind of a sneaky little hole here and see if he can get pushed along. And that's exactly what he's doing now. It looks like he finally got somebody to get right behind him. And he should be getting up to speed. Now he's up to 190 miles an hour where he should be.
And most definitely, when you're about to go a lap down, you want to just try and get to the tail end of the pack. Make sure you don't lose the draft or anything like that. Because if we get a caution, you could end up getting the lucky dog position.
When I say multiple times that Garrett Sidnor has been hot, hot, hot. Right now, he is sitting in the 22nd position. Yep, that's him there in the number 50 machine, actually hanging way back, a lot farther back than I think even his teammates had expected, as he sits in that 22nd spot, almost the farthest forward back, other than Hunter Johnson's. Right now, next time he would see one would be William Page or Hen Bordeaux sitting up in 16th and 17th. But hopefully we'll see him he'll work back forward in that Georgia Peanuts car and we'll get back up there and battle. But right now, Douglas, we're only 13 laps, so halfway through lap number 13 in this race. You know, I understand the sitting back at a race like this to kind of let the big one happen, go back up and battle later on. But, you know, how long do you really want to wait, and when is it too late?
Well, let's see. We got 70 laps, so I would probably say that probably being too late would probably be around the lap 50 to 60 range. But right now we're sitting on lap 13 going into 14 right now, so a lot of drivers may end up keeping patient and just letting the race come to them. As it looks like Garrett Sidnor, he's right now making some moves, because here he comes on that outside line, getting a couple positions.
Yep, gets a solid run there. He does sling around the outside. And right now I noticed Cam Barnes looked like he was getting annoyed out there in the front of the pack. He started slinging to the outside, as he is a rather perturbed out there. He's not real happy with what was happening on that middle lane, and was kind of having to juke out one of the drivers to get him out from in front of him. He was rotating to the outside lane, and then somebody else wanted to follow, and Cam Barnes isn't much of a follower. He wants to lead, so back out to the outside he's going to try, and that's not going to happen as Cam Barnes gets blocked once again by the 52 machine. Right now, Jace Nelson about to have a chance of leading this race. And that is something to see in a matter of 10 to 15 laps. He may have a chance of leading this race from almost the dead last spot.
Would definitely be a good night for Jace Nelson, even especially to get a couple of laps led in. And it looks like he might end up getting it, as we're going 3 wide for the lead right now. But it looks like that middle lane is right now gaining a little bit of momentum, because here comes Luke Smith inserting his name into the lead. And right behind him is Joseph Weaver in the 60.
Yeah, I'm getting a little concerned there with Jace Nelson and Cam Barnes. Right now you see Nelson getting a little loose. Heading into turn number 3. The rear end of that car started to step out. Cam Barnes looking for that fresh air and seeing if he can march Jace Nelson out of the way. He does, as looks like no one holding any punches back here. Cam Barnes going to get a little help from the Calios machine there of William Page. Now Cam Barnes is getting to the outside, but look how no one is helping him here. This does leave him, unfortunately, all by himself. Jace Nelson not able to reel him in, and that is going to definitely slow Cam Barnes' roll here as they head down the backstretch.
It looks like Cam Barnes will try to make that outside line work once again. Right behind him, he's going to have Calios machine of William Page for a little bit of assistance. As it looks like they might end up settling back onto that outside line, which they do. Oh, but Cam Barnes, he steps out of line once again, and he ends up going to the outside line. I can see what Cam Barnes is trying to do. He's trying to get up to the car right behind him, gain a little bit of speed, and then work his way to that outside line to give him a little bit of momentum.
Oh, we got trouble. Austin
Ooh.
Spencer getting sideways there. Looks like John Peterson takes the brunt of the hit. A little miscommunication there as it looks like Austin Spencer was falling out of line through turn number 1 and 2. That is the first time during this race we've seen any kind of stumble by a driver so far. And Austin Spencer, unfortunately, is the one we've got our eyes on here. Right now, I guarantee you, he's shaking his head right now and saying, man, how in the world did we make it out of that? So when he gets back down, when he comes down into pit road, they're going to assess a little bit of that damage that happened in the left front fender of Austin Spencer's car there. That was a wicked wiggle there, and it looked like he stepped it sideways and fortunately was able to bring it back around, and he'll be back on the attack yet again from the outside line. So, wow. Austin Spencer, great job by saving it there. Unfortunately, a couple of drivers had to help straighten him up. But I'm glad you point out there, Douglas, of what Cam Barnes is doing. Is snugging up behind the vehicle, starting to get a solid run there, and then trying to step it to the outside. I just think he's pulling the trigger a little too early here, as no one else is really getting the same run that he is. He's got to sit behind that driver, and then when you try to pass during the dogleg, he's actually taking the longest way around the track on the dogleg part to try to make that pass. I just think he's pulling it, he's trying to slingshot a little too soon.
Most definitely, as it is a little bit early into the race. We are approaching right now lap number 19. Ooh, and we're seeing a couple of drivers get loose there in the middle. Looks like Andrew Hennessy was getting a lot of wheel there.
Well, he's getting wedged in there between Joseph Weaver and Luke Smith, and there it is. Austin Spencer up into William Page there. Caution is out. We'll see. He is dog tracking bad there. That's going to be the end of Spencer's night. No matter how hard he's turning to the left, it's still going right. What a hit. Looks like everybody else is seeming to get out of that. William Page is the other driver who got the most damage as we saw him run up into him. Looks like bent up there right at the Calios ward. Back of that deck lid. Wow. So Austin Spencer. Dog tracking. That's it from the top Michelin chopper view here. Hey, Jay, what do you say we get this guy in alignment? And now Austin Spencer's Ford is totaled out. Unfortunately, 9 lives, not for Mr. Spencer out there. As unfortunately, this will be ending his night in the running of the Loveable Critters Company. 300,000. Good Lord. All right, let's go back and take another look at how all this happened. As we saw Austin Spencer. Boy, it looked like that entire lane moved. Look how the 81. It looks like Page is already having trouble. Page is into the wall. Is how we even start this. So heading into 1, Page hits the wall. Yeah, I think Spencer may have pulled down just a little bit, trying to avoid. Yeah, overcorrected, and then got up into Page. And the 81 machine went ahead and spun him the rest of the way around. I would say out of everything I hear on the track, if that's all that happened, that is fantastic for the rest of these drivers. That could have been a lot worse. So pit stops underway, everybody coming on down. The only one I have not seen come down is the 11 Toyota of Antonio Ruiz. We'll probably see him come down a little bit later. Coming off pit road first is going to be Andrew Hennessy. Looks like an 11.15 pit stop time. Luke Smith sitting in third with 11.45. Most guys, looks like they may have taken 2 tires here on the right sides to get back out there. Some did take less time than that. Justin Kuznetski currently sitting in the 12th position with an 8.8. So we'll see how the 05 does. See if we can fight back up there. Man, I got to admit, some of these guys, you know, when it gets awfully wiggly out there and guys start shifting and moving around, you wonder what goes through a driver's head when you start seeing somebody slinging around the track. If they can manage out there. We'll see if we can grab a hold of one of our drivers out there and see if we can have a conversation of what in the world they've got going on out there. And see if they are able to return. We are seeing William Page down pit road for quite some time. And I hate to say it here, but we'll see what happened. And I know hopefully William Page is not too wound up. William Page, you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, man. I know you're probably pretty wound up out there, and I do want to ask, hey, man, how bad's the damage to the car?
Oh, she is cooked. I am done. Yeah, there's no coming back from that one. I think it messed something up with the steering column or something like that, and it's, yeah, that was a fatal hit to the car, not me, but the car.
So, have you been able to review over the replay of what happened out there?
Yeah, it looks like Austin was a little squirrely, and then it looked like John Peterson came up just a little bit out of his lane on the bottom lane, and they made some contact. He couldn't recover it. Got a little sideways and hooked it right into me, and that was the bullet to the 42 car.
Man, hate seeing that though, man. You know, a couple of guys starting to shift around out there, wondering what is the best way to kind of attack this track. It did look like you were having some success out there, following behind Cam Barnes, who looked like he was pretty hot-headed and wanted to fight his way to the front. But we saw you make contact with the wall right before this kind of all came down. Was there something going on the track out there? Because we weren't sure. It doesn't look like netcode, but we saw you contact the wall. You came down a little bit, and it almost looks like Austin may have almost overcorrected as it came down toward Peterson, and then it whipped right back to the right side and just, I guess, decided to become one with yours.
Yeah, I think that little like checkup or not checkup, but like contact I made with the wall was just a little misjudgment as the turn started to, started to turn left, and I just misjudged it and barely touched it. I think that also contributed to me just being lined up perfectly with Austin as soon as it all went down, and luck of the draw on that.
Man, I hate to see you go out here so soon, buddy, but hopefully we'll see you in the coming races. You know, any words of wisdom to the people out here that are racing currently? You know, they're pretty excited. Everybody seems to be really wound up for a super speedway race. What do you have to leave with them? As unfortunately you'll be setting down pit road.
Patience. I feel like things are a little squirrely and there's a lot of excitement, especially up towards the front. And I mean, I wanted to get up there too because I was like in the back at first, but yeah, it's obviously what bit me. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it's hard to get out of that. I know when you have so many laps and you want to get up front and lead, but man, you see where the trouble starts. So William Page, appreciate you talking to us, buddy.
Hey, I'll be here next week.
All
Sounds
right,
good, guys.
Good luck, buddy. All right, everybody, that is William Page in the number 42 machine. We do appreciate him once again coming and joining us here in the booth during the end of our caution. We'll get lap number 23 restarted back under green. Douglas, words of wisdom from our guys out here, and you even see William Page, a little disgusted, but he knows some things happen here at Talladega. So you really can't be mad. You just hate to see your race end so soon.
And most definitely so. It is a big heartbreak for William Page, but like he said, he'll be back next week, and he'll be back for redemption.
Yep. And he's working his way on back. You see him kind of check out the 81 machine, rotating on back. Does not want to get in this mix already, as we are already starting to separate three wide again. There on the outside line. I'm looking to see who that was. I believe that was Colby Martin that was taking a peek there on the outside. And once again, no fear for Cam Barnes as he is sitting currently 10th, making his own way here on the outside. Right now, Hankins there sitting in the 9th spot in the 72 Chevrolet. Probably getting a little tired of his spotter yelling at him the entire time somebody's sitting to the outside of him on the right side, as he is currently having Cam Barnes kind of occupying that spot all night.
And most definitely. And Cam Barnes, he is going to be one of the guys to watch, as it looks like here he goes again, making moves to the outside line. So Cam Barnes is right now doing good on that outside line, but unfortunately he's got no backup. So he's going to have to get some backup if he wants to make that third line work.
We'll see if Michael Murata, who we're riding along with now, decides to cut him off, and he does, stays to the bottom, and goes ahead and keeps Cam Barnes stuck to the outside. Wow, all right. Noah Joyce going to go ahead and help out Cam Barnes. Wait for Cam Barnes to get a run here, and he's going to try yet again. Here we go, outside line. And that's going to start working for him as they start this outside line, led by Michael Murata. Boy, isn't that a fantastic view? That is exactly what you want to see. Outside line, getting a solid run here. And right now, if we could get Michael Murata, wow, off the wall as the 21 machine. We got some trouble. Hang on. Murata into the wall. We were riding along with him there, and that's how fast it happens. Little bump into the wall, bump, bang, out you go. Murata down to 13th.
Not sure where all of that started, but I seen one car really cut down on that outside line working, and I do believe that was Darren Ingram that tried to make a move onto the outside line, but unfortunately he got in Cam Barnes' tracks. So Cam Barnes gonna try again, but out Ingram and it looks like Noah Joyce are gonna fall back a little bit, as it looks like we're approaching lap traffic right now.
Yep, that's not good here. Lap traffic really soon, especially with a giant pile here. Is right now that looks like, yep, that's going to be the 57 machine there on the inside of Tommy Bordeaux. Tommy Bordeaux just starting the race. Boy, that's going to be tough to win. He won season 9, but not like that. As the 57 machine getting out there, William Page, he is done for the night. Austin Spencer still sitting in pit road. He's got a lot of work to do. He's currently past 8 minutes to get that one fixed up. Let's check in on Steven Merzlak, who's sitting in 20th. Justin Krasinski looks like he rejoined pit road yet again during that caution to come down for a 33-second repair time. So I don't know what damage he had to that car, but he wants to make sure everything is looking good out there. Antonio Ruiz getting loose in the number 11. He actually has only been down one time, but he waited a lot longer. But he spent 60 seconds, almost an entire minute, hanging out down in pit road. So some guys faster, some guys slower, some topped off on fuel. One of those guys, Michael Murata, who did come down with a 4.63 pit stop time. Right now, Murata is sitting in 11th with a little extra fuel than everybody else out here in the field. So he's looking to stretch his legs out on this one. But man, oh man, don't get yourself caught out there by yourself. Without the draft, he's going to be in trouble. So Murata has got to stay stuck to somebody's rear bumper here, especially the one currently sitting in front of him of Noah Joyce. And once again, Cam Barnes hanging out in front of him. But notice, everybody is concerned about that outside line. They are fighting to keep them close to that wall. And John Peterson not real happy in that Cheez-It machine with Luke Smith sitting in front of him. He makes an occasional slide to the outside, trying to slow that lane down.
Luke Smith trying to hold on to whatever he can right now, still trying to work that middle lane. But here comes Cam Barnes once again, working that outside lane. He gains the ground, but then he loses the ground. Now it looks like the inside line is the line that wants to move, as leading that inside line is Andrew Hennessy.
Finally coming together is even the lane in the middle, as these two dominant lanes are continuing to charge forward. Smith sidesteps. Going to try to put Joseph Weaver in a bad spot there. Now he moves up to the front. Peterson and Luke Smith is doing a fantastic job, and right now you have got to tip your hats to the drivers here. Look at the conglomeration of cars out front. I think the person in the safest spot is Andrew Hennessy, who's out front with Cal Loveable behind him. But man, oh man, there is no safe spot out here on the track, as this giant gaggle of cars here have everywhere to go except forward. No kidding. Look at this. This is currently sitting here with Garrett Sidnor. Look at this. Look at the mess of cars here. This is fantastic. You know, I got to admit, I love seeing racing. Even though it's pack racing, I love seeing racing like this when it's close quarters. Guys have to make decisions, and they've got to be quick, and they can't be wrong, And this is definitely what you want to see. Guys working together, somebody shifts, you're not happy, make an adjustment, and start charging back forward. So a lot of movement out here, especially for some of the drivers you wouldn't think. Drivers like the number 60 out there, Joseph Weaver. Currently, he was out there almost in the lead, marched out again, down into 6th, but is able to charge back forward again, as the 3 drivers in front of him had now cut back in front, and Hankins now has the lead. 19 positions gained for him total here tonight, is now leading the race out there in the Chevrolet. The only one in the top 5. He's looking for Jason Nelson and Steve Merzlak to come up with their Chevrolets. But they got a little ways to go, as Scott Fleener is still making a name for himself, working his way back to the front.
Scott Fleener, definitely one of those guys trying to make up as much ground as he possibly can. As of right now, Fleener, who did start in the, looks like the 2nd spot. So right now, currently in spot number 7 right now, according to the scorecard. Right now leading that 3rd and outside line is Joseph Weaver in the 60, and right behind him, trying to gain as much ground as he can from starting in the back of the field, that was Merzlak, but Merzlak will now work to the 2nd lane.
Yeah, Merzlak out there. Yeah, I was just keeping an eye on him as well. Out there in the sim rat market, that number 71 we are looking at currently, snugged up behind Jace Nelson in the 52 Chevrolet. Now, Jace Nelson, I'm a little confused at his qualifying spot, how far back he started. He started in the 25th position, currently sitting in 6th. Why in the world he started that far back is beyond me, because right now he is moving around like a top 5 driver. He's got the chance. He's on the outside of Scott Fleener, still moving forward. That's 20 for him, as he's sitting behind Huang Do, who's the only driver on the track to be back in his original qualifying spot. But look at this inside lane. That is not where I would want to be. Everybody doing a lot of wiggling as Cal Loveable takes over the lead. Andrew Hennessy will be sitting 2nd, and Kaloha Hankins will be sitting in the 3rd spot. But that's all going to change as a couple lanes do start moving again, as the backstretch separates everybody again. Cal Loveable still able to fend off the 72 of Hankins here, as Andrew Hennessy is helping with the push.
Trying to hold on to what he can, still holding on to that lead, but Andrew Hennessy, he's still giving him a little bit of a boost right now, as it looks like those guys will try to make their way past the rest of the field. Right now, moving back up into the field is Wong Do in the 06. Now Drake breaking into the top 3.
Yeah, tough race to call when everybody else is shoving and pushing around. It's hard to find where your favorite driver is. We'll try to find one that everybody likes a lot out there. Is the number 54 to Garrett Sidnor. First time breaking into the top 10 tonight. He's currently sitting in the 8th spot. We'll see if we can find him. There he is, down there on the bottom. Hard to not get the Georgia Peanuts car mixed up out there with the Cheez-It machine, who's currently falling out. John Peterson all the way back here, falling back behind the 26 machine at Hen Bordeaux. Hen Bordeaux has actually been pretty quiet here tonight, as she is currently following behind Noah Joyce. Joyce trying to make some work of it here as we hop inside Hen Bordeaux's car. Always driving the loud paint scheme out there, and especially in the, I believe in the purple and blue race suit out there. Normally even the car's that color, but not here tonight, as Hen Bordeaux currently sitting in the 14th spot. Now, when you sit along here, and you're in Hen Bordeaux's spot, Douglas, we're kind of looking forward out of her windshield, and we just see a sea of cars in front. You just kind of focus on the driver in front of you, or do you just, or do you start looking farther ahead of where are my opportunities to start getting up to the front?
Right now, with it being still on lap 34 going into 35, I think you might just want to stay zoned in on the car in front of you and just make sure that that in particular person doesn't make a mistake. When you get farther into the race, you're going to end up getting to the zone of, I got to start watching everybody now to make sure that nobody else makes that mistake. So it really all depends on where you're at.
It looks like everybody else is starting to calm down a little bit here. Outside line still being a little bit of a threat there to the outside edge. As we are starting to kind of mellow out a little bit, everybody's snugging down thinking about only 2 lines, but Cam Barnes, of course, he's not. He wants to stay out there. No way, Jose. He's going to see if he can keep fighting his way up to the front. Right now, we're looking to find Merzlak again. There he is, sitting right behind Scott Fleener. Fleener currently sitting in 5th. As we Get a nice little flyby out there in the digger cam. K-Doggy out there in the chat. Hey, buddy. Glad to see you back here. I expect to see you out there on the track here tonight, especially with the USORL League running the Loveable Critters Company 300,000. As we are continuing this run here. Only one caution so far, back on lap number 19. Involving Austin Spencer and William Page, taking them both out of the running tonight of any sort of competitiveness, being able to get back out there. Page has already taken it back to the garage after over 7.5 minutes of repair, and we are up to almost 17 minutes of repair for Austin Spencer, currently hanging out in the 24th spot here in the race. Hunter Johnson out there in the 53 machine is getting absolute trouble out there on lap number 21, and he is currently, whoa, Cal Loveable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa, and here comes Cam Barnes shooting the middle.
Boy, doing a little bit of a Cole Trickle move there. He always goes to the outside and then changes it up. Looks like Cal Loveable is now sitting in third, as he is currently trying to see if he can push up to the front. Cam Barnes sitting fifth, and Cal Loveable with a face full of fresh air out there, getting a hard push there by Cam Barnes. Yeah, Barnes may not be the pusher here, as we are seeing that 97 machine gives one more shove there to the number 5, and that may give him the run he needs through 3 and 4 to get this breakaway. Notice who's caught on the outside. Andrew Hennessy. He is going to get marched very close to missing out on the top 10. And third lane comes to a death here, no more. As that lane is deceased and resurrecting again. Here it comes. Looks like Luke Smith to the outside. Hennessy's going to help him. I know. Does anyone from the far bottom lane think about going out there and helping him? Nope. I thought Sidnor might think about going out there and helping him and trying to get something stirred up again. Wait for Cam Barnes to sling to the outside here, but the 53 can't turn him. Or otherwise, there's going to be another pile up here. Head down the backstretch to get lap number 38 halfway complete.
Right now, on that outside line right now is Luke Smith. He unfortunately has no backup with him. So there goes Luke Smith going somewhat towards the top 10, and it looks like he'll settle in behind Andrew Hennessy. Now he'll be doing battle with Darren Ingram on the inside line.
Yeah, Luke Smith just barely hanging on to that top 10. Ingram was passing there for the moment as his chrome wheels were going ahead and flashing on by, but no can do. 52 machine trying to squeeze back in. Jace Nelson has no choice. It looks like if you just decide to take that outside lane, no one is there to help you. But maybe, just maybe, we may see Antonio Ruiz go up there and try to help. I'll have John Peterson currently sitting behind as well, and if I'm not mistaken, that's Daryl Harris out there in the number 9. Get up there. It looks like they're having some success. John Peterson scraping it off the wall there. Is it. All right, moving on. Still staying up front. Hankins leading. Loveall to the center. Seeing if they can fight their way back to the front. Huang Do out there in the Ohio State Buckeye machine, as he's currently sitting in 4th. Cam Barnes would love to get up there in the lead, but he's going to go ahead and follow behind Cal Loveall to get lap number 40 started here.
As lap number 40 goes up into lights. And now Hankins is still holding on to the number 1 spot. Right behind him is Huang Do, trying to give him a little bit of a push right now. And here comes the outside line once again working. It looks like Cam Barnes, he's going to give a big humongous shove. Cal Loveall there on that outside line. Loveall holding on to the number 2 slot as of right now, still hanging on strong. Right behind him, Cam Barnes, he is anxious to get back up towards that front. And right behind him, making up all that ground that he lost, here comes Andrew Hennessy once again.
Yeah, Hennessy breaking back into the top 5, doing a fantastic job so far, but Talladega is very forgiving, able to allow guys to come back alive and work their way back to the front here. Noah Joyce currently hanging out there in the 14th position, as Hen Bordeaux has been seesawing back and forth there with Daryl Harris for the 15th position. Not too much movement out here, as a couple of guys have been thinking top line, low line, top line. Well, not quite sure, but we are already breaking into 21 laps that these guys have been on these tires and a tank of fuel. So they are starting to feel the lightness of the car. No more they have a full tank of fuel to give them any sort of momentum around the turn. So now we're losing a little bit of downforce as the squeeze down toward the track with the lack of weight is starting to come into play. I would say now if anybody starts making any sort of pushing, now's where guys start getting wiggly, and then we'll see things like how the lap number 19 caution came about. So hopefully these guys are able to hold down. We've only had one tumble up here that caused one caution flag. If we're able to ride this out, we should be looking at one more pit stop, and these guys are going to race it out to the end. But man, oh man, this is where the friendships end, and now rivalries are born. We are catching up to Tommy Bordeaux, who's going ahead and marching off the field there and going to go ahead and let these guys at over 190 miles an hour sling past him. And you gotta say, man, appreciate you for doing 145 miles an hour. You might want to step out of the way because the train is coming. Around they go. And Tommy Bordeaux trying to grab the last of the caboose there of the rest of this charge forward that these guys are doing. Great job by Hankins. Cal Loveable sitting in front. Huang Do sitting third. Cam Barnes fourth. And Scott Fleener quietly sitting in that fifth position, looking to find when he can come back and attack this front group of guys. Moving on to 6th, 7th, where Andrew Hennessy was just a moment ago. Steven Merzlak is 8th, Jace Nelson 9th, and Garrett Sidnor rounding out our top 10. Great job out there by the Georgia Peanuts machine. Sitting in 22nd, now sitting in 10th, so he's feeling a little more confident that maybe everybody got those early race jitters out of their way. But it looks like he's going to stay inside line. Lap number 43 almost complete here as we enter run into turn number 3, heading through 4.
And into turn number 4 right now, looks like the outside line is dying down a little bit. Once again, as it looks like Hankins will end up into the number 1 slot. Huang Do will settle into spot number 2. But here comes, once again, on a hard charge, here comes Cal Loveable, making that high line work to his favor once again. Right behind him is Cam Barnes and Andrew Hennessy trying to make something happen. And now here comes Jace Nelson inserting his spot right back.
Yeah, the more pushing these guys do, the higher those water temperatures are getting. So you'll see some guys pop out to the side and then snug right back in behind them again. How in the world Huang Do is continuing to push, yeah, I have no idea, but you see him fade back right here. That may be cooling the engine off to give the opportunity. That's going to allow Cal Loveable to drop down in front of Hankins. That's going to make him stop. And finally, Cam Barnes is kind of got his hands up in the air saying, finally, out of my way. Now somebody gives me that shove I need. Andrew Hennessy said, I will oblige. He's going to help push him, and that's going to move Cam Barnes up to the 2nd spot as they race to the line. Barnes going to lead that one.
Cam Barnes trying to get as many laps as he possibly can.
Loveable and Barnes were currently working together there for the last 10 laps or so. Now going to be battling side by side as they seesaw back and forth down this backstretch. Wondering to see if anybody's going to kind of kick in an overdrive here and think about moving up to the front. I would say a driver quietly in the back, Michael Murata. He's currently down 21 positions. Pretty impressive for starting out there on the pole. Right now the 62 Chevrolet way back here. Definitely watching the race from the back. Justin Krzyzewski started in 11th, down here in the 21st position. Why these guys are hanging back so far, I'm thinking they're starting to think something's brewing up front. But with 25 laps to go, I would say after a pit stop here, Douglas, we might see everybody starting to reassert their dominance of why they qualified up front.
And most definitely, in the last pit stop that we're going to have of the night, when it's going to be coming up really soon, it's going to be a make or break moment for some of these drivers. And when it comes to that, we're going to see this field split up a little bit, but once again, once all the green flag pit stops are cycled through, we should be able to see everybody back in the way that they usually are.
All right, pit stops are going to start happening soon as the pit strategy is starting to open. I notice pit lane is opening here as that window is open for those guys. Last time they pit, we saw him come down on lap 20 and lap 21. We are currently breaking across the line to begin lap number 46. So it's getting ready to get time. You got drivers standing side by side here wondering, okay, if you're on the outside line, how in the world do you get to the inside? Douglas, do you have a clue?
You either got to find a hole or you got to hope that somebody will be able to let you in when needed to be. But yeah, if you're hanging out on that outside line, I would suggest getting down to that inside line very, very soon, because it's going to come to a point where you're going to have to pit. If you're not down there in time, it could ruin your whole entire strategy.
I was wondering if that's why the outside line is starting to peter off here, as everybody else is starting to already set up. It may take you 4 or 5 laps to figure out how to find a seam out there to wedge down on the bottom and get ready to pit. After that, we'll probably be 3 wide all the way until the end, but who's going to decide to send it 4 wide? I think the person crazy enough is the guy sitting in the number 2 spot, Cam Barnes.
Cam Barnes definitely all night hasn't hesitated to make it 4 wide. We already seen him make a couple of daredevil moves tonight. So Cam Barnes is going to be the guy to watch when it comes to that 4 wide situation.
Yeah, well, I definitely can't wait to see what he's got, making it about 3/4 of the way through lap number 47 here, as we only have 23 laps left to go. Cal Loveable staying out front, enjoying his time in the sun. But is it going to be short-lived? Whoa, bad push there by Hankins. Hankins got to be a little more careful. Looks like Cam Barnes got a little shove he didn't expect. And that'll be how guys start making mistakes out here. Hopefully that does kind of calm down a little bit. Let's check in. I believe that is John Peterson. Yep, once again. Looks like that Cheez-It machine coming back in. Justin Krzyzewski. Boy, I ask and I shall receive. Krzyzewski now up here, currently sitting in 12th. So I guess he may be tuned in here. I'm wondering if he's listening to us. I was getting a little concerned at how far back he was, but he is definitely still working it though. Michael Murata is still down in the 22nd spot though. Boy, definitely a quick switch up here for some of our guys out there. I hate seeing it. Tommy Bordeaux has been out there on the track long enough. He's worked himself up 2 positions, although he is down about, I think, about 27 laps here in the race. Wow. Hate to see it for him, but man, I give it to Tommy Bordeaux going out here and marching off some of these laps. He's gone ahead and gotten around Spencer, which Spencer, 28 minutes. Oof. Normally they've kicked him out of pit road here and already taken it back to the garage. But that's not going to be the case. Let's check back in on our lead here. Barnes and Loveable. Barnes holding it out in front. And I think Hennessy hasn't left his rear bumper yet. Backing it up just a little bit. Cam Barnes getting ready to lose the lead. Here comes the run. And Hennessy's going to give him another shove as they head past that pit road entrance once again. 20 laps to go when they get to the line. These guys are definitely stretching it out as far as they can. 30 laps they've been out here on these tires and fuel. Ooh, man, Hennessy getting loose here as Hankins and Hennessy almost make contact. Yeah, I'm thinking the lack of fuel here, Douglas, is what we're starting to see. These guys shifting top, bottom, top, bottom. It may be time. I would just be concerned how long we're looking at before somebody's going to have to come down and head into pit road. Have these guys been cycling around in the field long enough that they are able to last longer than our calculated distance that they should be able to run?
It probably very well could be, and these guys may have had a plan that we don't know up here. I mean, they could be running probably 3/4 of throttle trying to save as much fuel as they possibly can. So maybe they're trying to extend it out a little more than what we possibly would have known.
Yep. That's definitely something we should take into account. Steven Bertlack here, rolling it at a comfortable 188 miles an hour, currently sitting in 9th. Normally these guys are running faster. There they go. About that 190 is the mark I normally expect to see them. Looks like fastest time tonight. He's been up over 192. So he's still getting pretty close out there as he is hanging back. I want to be, might be conserving just a hair here. And see if he's going to make it all the way to the end. Boy, could you imagine if they are able to make it to the end? That would be something.
If they can make it to the end on what they have, that would be impressive.
We'll keep an eye out there and see if that is going to be the case. Oh, hoping a couple of our guys will be able to survive this next run. And Tennessee setting now 9th. Boy, it looks like he goes ahead and ducks on out, makes a huge back. As the outside line is starting to flake off again. When does this come? And when do they come down? No takers. Still nobody coming on down. This pit lane remains empty here. The only driver sitting currently down there is going to be Austin Spencer. All right. Well, one driver who's starting to still kind of poke out here is Jace Nelson, who's sitting in that 5th spot. If you're unsure which vehicle he is in, he should be in the Beechcraft 52 Chevrolet out there. So far, so good here for Jace Nelson. He's really had a stellar night here. With 17 laps left to go here at Talladega. We do appreciate you guys joining us here at Simtrax Broadcasting. We are bringing you the USORL series here on this fine Thursday night. Appreciate you guys taking your time out of your night to come watch this race here at Talladega. Only one caution has happened so far in this race, 19 minutes into the race on lap number 19, where Austin Spencer had gotten loose, went up and hit William Page, and that took them both out for the night. We have been green flagged ever since. They said our calculations sat between 27 and somewhere around 31 laps. We are getting beyond that. As we are currently, I believe, at 54 laps that these guys have been out here on these tires and fuel. Jay out there saying the DEGA. Yep, that's definitely it, man. We come here to a super speedway like this. It brings drivers you haven't seen in a very long time. One of them I'd like to note is Davey Hazard. I would love to see him return back here to the pavement. Show us what he can do. I'm actually surprised to not see him out here tonight. You would think John Peterson would have had enough driving from last night. He did not. Peterson comes out here tonight and he races, coming from the Bandit Racing League, and now he is here with the USORL League. Well-revered guy and painter out there. Getting out there onto the track as he is now making his way past Garrett Sidnor, who's currently now dropping back down to the 12th spot. The driver's going to start crunching up here. There should be, I believe, 14 to go at the line. As Cal Loveable is leading this one. Single file for most of the field out here. We're getting a decent separation. We were looking at the top 12 drivers separated by at least a half a second. We now are separated by over a second and a half. So now we're falling all the way back to Darren Ingram here. And these guys are starting to single file it all the way. Pretty impressive here. I'm wondering if that is, this is the telltale sign that we may have a max exodus here heading into pit road. Or do we have any takers? Any takers? No. Gonna keep going. And that's one thing, you know, Geese Phi in a V position to help get some aerodynamics and help them go farther and help their buddies with the lift. But right now we are seeing them single file. I think they're trying to stretch it to see if they're going to make it here. And Douglas, when you're getting this close to start running really low on fuel here, what happens next?
Really, the next decision that you gotta worry about is how much fuel is actually going in the car. You don't want to waste the couple of extra seconds sitting down pit road for fuel that you don't necessarily need. So I'm pretty sure these drivers are trying to schedule out what kind of fuel they're going to put in, how much fuel they're going to put in, which is probably going to be about 10 laps. So don't be surprised if a lot of these guys are just going to take a splash and go for the rest of the race.
All right, well, we're going to see if we can send you down to find out with maybe some of our drivers who are leading, Cal Lovell, Cam Barnes, Garrett Sidnor, to find out what their fuel mileage is. Douglas, be gone! And Douglas is going to go down there and find out what in the world and how they are making it. Do they have enough fuel to squeeze by? We'll find out. And hopefully Douglas will be able to give us an update of how in the world this is going to happen and how they are making it here. Right now, this is going to be an excellent race so far. Once again, do appreciate you guys joining us here at the Alabama Mile, where these guys have been nothing but beautiful and perfect here. Finally, pit stops are starting to happen. Drivers heading on down. Justin Krzyzewski will be our first taker. Gets in just in time, as it looks like he was able to slow it down as he came in. Great job. So Douglas Ross hanging out here with us as he comes back. Looks like pit stops are starting to happen now, as Krzyzewski, Ingram, Weaver, all these guys are coming on down, but yet the front 10 remain out there on the track. They're going to go ahead and take it around a couple more times. Douglas, boy, that was something.
Yep, a lot of people are coming down this time, so please expect the leaders probably to be coming down probably within the next 1 or 2 laps.
Last thing you want to do is be hung out to dry. Do not want to be the last person. But Justin Krzyzewski, extended amount of time down pit road. Something tells me we sped in. Oh, man, 39, 40 seconds. Let him go. He might do a little Kyle Busch here and run him over. Right now, he's not happy at that iRacing official. Krzyzewski, 50 seconds in the box. Now everybody's joining him. That may be it of his race. I don't know if Krzyzewski's going to be able to bring it back from that. Holy cow, 53 seconds sitting just in the box. That gives him a minute and 23, in pit lane itself. All right, let's get to a couple of our guys who are still on the lead lap as guys are getting lapped and moved around out there. Steven Merzlak still leading the race. Well, has now overtaken and taken the race here. And I think a couple of guys like Colby Martin maybe, yep, that's going to be hung out to dry. Nobody's around him here. He's going to be out there by himself, 26 seconds out in front of Michael Murata, who has yet to come down since lap number 21. So right now, these two guys stranded out here on the track. Expect Murata to come on down. Yep, you see the backfire now of the engine there, so he is blowing it up, heading on down. Does not want to get a speeding penalty here. That means that should put our guy Cam Barnes into the lead here, not taking anything away from Colby Martin. But with him yet to pit and out there by himself, he is suffering big time right now. 194, 195 miles an hour from drivers like Cam Barnes out there, who is able to stay out front. And Steven Merzlak, I mean, just a couple of these guys right here. And we're looking at the pile as we speak right now at 186 miles an hour. And Colby Martin's working his way on in now, 9 laps to go.
Right now, Colby Martin making his pit stop right now. That should cycle everybody back now to their original positions. But right now, it looks like that should cycle Huang Do back to the lead right now.
Yep.
Jace Nelson and Cam Barnes rounding out our top 3.
Yeah, Huang Do has actually been hanging up front most here of the night. As a couple of the guys are still working it out, as Colby Martin working his way out of pit road now. I think the poison pill tonight would be anybody who took tires. Everybody else has been fuel and go. Got to get back out there. And the worst part is trying to get back up to speed on glazed tires. Definitely they want to have new and fresh fuel out there as they get back out there and continue to finish out the Loveable Critters Company 300,000 as we are looking at this. Right now, these guys are clumped together by about a quarter of a second. They are starting to collect more drivers, though. And that's what Talladega is best known for doing. If you think you're out of it, not yet.
Oh, here comes Cam Barnes once again cutting down the middle of the track.
Yeah, definitely giving a wide berth to the people down at the yellow line. No passing can be made below that yellow line, as that is an illegal pass. And Darren Ingram hanging on the outside line. So really, where does Luke Smith come into play here? I got a feeling some feelings are going to be hurt, especially here toward the end of the race. But Darren Ingram finally getting some help here. And look who's going ahead and sending it almost 4 wide here in the back. Cal Loveable, not interested, as he is going to go ahead and slice up the center. Douglas in Cal Loveall's position, where I have raced before, you kind of start reeling in the back. What happens when the accordion starts? And I would say when Cal Loveall goes up and nudges the back of Luke Smith, who's currently pushing Cam Barnes, is it a surprise to the guy in the middle?
It kind of is a surprise for the guy in the middle, because when you're sitting in that 3-lane position where you got one guy in front of you, you're stuck in the middle, and then you got a guy behind you. Guy in the middle, he's not going to know what way to go if you end up pushing him. So you just got to hope that the guy in the middle doesn't push the guy in front of him wrong.
Yeah, I always love doing that, because if I'm in Cal Loveall's spot, I give Luke Smith a push. He goes ahead and pushes Cam Barnes. Well, when he lets off, I'm pushing him again. And, man, you can just it almost looks like an inchworm out there, and you guys are pushing your way down that backstretch. But the worst part is, if you are that guy in the middle, like Luke Smith, he's lost the front downforce because all the wind is now coming off the rear of Cam Barnes' car and now hitting the windshield of Luke Smith. Luke Smith has no downforce in the back because now Cal Loveall's so close to the rear bumper, it's actually blowing over the top of him. So the guy who's actually the fastest is the one sitting in the middle, but he's the loosest and the most out of control because he can't plant the power. And we've already got guys bumping and banging out here, and it continues. Yes, great job. Everybody kind of slowing that one down. Noah Joyce was involved in it there for just a little bit. Number 9 there, Darrell Harris got a little bit of it as well, but it did start to accordion its way back. They had some trouble sitting up here around the Joseph Weaver area. Little bit of a wiggle, couple doors smashed in there, and back they go. And unfortunately, the ones in the back are the ones who suffer. 16 seconds, we look back, we find Colby Martin. Looks like he's back here with Andrew Hennessy, John Peterson, Zach Krastowski. Just to name those 5 guys. Yep, 5 guys. And then Scott Fleener. Good Lord. Yeah, Scott Fleener way back here. Yeah, that is rather unfortunate here. Hopefully we can figure out what happened and why they were off pace so bad. Yeah, Fleener had an 8.78 time. He came in down lap 60. Like our guys here in the front, but looks like he had a miscommunication there. That did not pan out for him. So 4 laps to go, and we have our front at least 12 drivers out there, all clumped together.
Well, I can tell you what, if you're at a point now where if you want to make a move, you're going to have to make it within the next 1 or 2 laps, because now is going to be the time of the race where things are going to start to get crazy.
All right, well, your win actually came by the last lap pass, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't think you were even straight finishing that lap.
No, I wasn't. Me, the second and the third place guy weren't even straight.
Yeah, that slide across the line was a very good one. Guys, if you want to find out the race we're talking about, go to simtracksbroadcasting.com. You can actually find out where Douglas wins down there in the Big Show. I believe it was probably the 3rd or 4th time we had done the broadcast for the Big Show out there at Talladega, and that's where you'll end up seeing Doug LaRosse's win out there. 2 laps left to go. We're going to see who can win this time out there.
Oh, big trouble.
Whoa! Luke Smith into the wall here. That's going to bring out a caution. Who can survive and who lived? Oh,
it's the big one.
Another shot. Yeah, the key is even as everybody's shuffling now, is to still not to continue gaining more damage. Darren Ingram looks like he might be the one who gets it the worst out there, as his Toyota has been minced up. Holy cow, almost made it all the way. I thought we were going to have it green all the way. Right now, this is a huge save out there for a driver like Scott Fleener. Fleener was out of the running. Krzyzewski wasn't even close. And he's going to have a chance to get back up there after a dismal 1 minute pit top time. Sitting in 18th, he was in danger of going a lap down here. And these guys will be able to get back up front. We'll check in and see what caused our caution here. Luke Smith was definitely around it, and I knew he wasn't happy about what happened as he got hammered a couple of times here up top. Looks like a bad push. And is that Ingram? Are we going to have point fingers? Oddly enough, this is almost exactly where the last caution happened. Heading into turn 1. Wow, hard shove there by Ingram. Hood comes off. And is that, yeah, that's Joseph Weaver is getting the worst of it here. Luke Smith gets popped. There's Ingram down there on the bottom again. And who's that, Joyce? Yeah, that's Noah Joyce. The woes continue there for Joyce. Let's take another look at it here from Noah Joyce's angle as we kind of concentrate there on the 31. See him send it 4 wide there on Cal Loveable. It looks like he's got it saved. Oh! Harris turns him the rest of the way. There's Merzlak trying to get Harris out of the way. Look out. I want to know who sent it through the grass. Somebody looked like they didn't even lift, sent it straight through the grass here. Squeaks on through. Here's Steven Merzlak. And coming here on the left side. There. No way. That's Ingram. How in the world did he come back from that? It looked like he's going Mach 4, slinging through the grass. All right, we'll take one last peek as we'll look to see. I don't look like anybody's taking a pit stop here. Watch Darren Ingram here. Boom. That's 2. 3. Ingram drifting. Come back on the track. Wow. Joey out there saying he's going to help those cars in the back. All right, as we get back live, bunch of drivers sitting down pit road currently. Darren Ingram, Darrell Harris, Luke Smith, Noah Joyce, and Antonio Ruiz certainly sitting in pit road here for almost 2 minutes. Ruiz now going ahead and dropping the floor jack there. Out they go. Trying to get out before Cam Barnes puts him a lap down. So he goes ahead and squirts out of there. A couple more guys trying to hurry up. They're able to get out. Darren Ingram and Harris are able to get out. Ingram was able to get it together enough to get back out on the track. It looks like where they were able to pull that bumper out. Still haven't found. The search party's still looking for the hood. All right, so our first green-white checkered. As we were coming up to our white flag last lap, and we ended up going under a caution. There's been a decent separation, though. We had gone 50 laps between cautions. All the way back on lap 19 for Austin Spencer, and Darren Ingram getting caught up in this one with Mr. Weaver out there. Lap number 69. Luke Smith still has a boatload of damage out there, almost over 3.5 minutes. Joseph Weaver now almost 5 minutes. So this will be a huge advantage for some of these guys who were out of the chase. Andrew Hennessy, who was still trying to play catch-up, gets back in it. And I think Krizaneski, I think he's going to need one more caution to get back around. I think he's now lined up in the lucky dog position. Kind of a bummer here for the 05. Looks like Hankins is trying to get lined up here.
Now, with that being said, it looks like we are going to go to our first green-white checkered finish.
It's going to be a wild start. Cam Barnes looks like he may be our guy to take us to the green flag here. And yes, we are. Cam Barnes gets out front. Cal Lovable gives a shove. And that's going to give us a decent chunk of vehicles having an opportunity here. That should be the top 16 drivers have the opportunity to win this one. We'll see how they clump together as they get up to speed. Backstretch going to start making a difference here as we've got some separation already. Scott Fleener trying to make up the gap. Going to get a huge run here following behind John Peterson. Does he decide to take it outside? Yes, he does. Going to run off a good bit of that speed as he's got nowhere to go and no one to help him. Hennessy's going to shut the door. So to the outside Fleener goes. Fleener going to lose it there.
Here comes Andrew Hennessy shooting the middle right now of those lanes.
All right, out there in the chat. William Page is saying pull those belts tight one more time. White flag is out. It's not going to matter. Fleener caught up. Peterson caught up. The number 9 of Harris caught up. And I believe the 94 of Martin caught up. Let's get back here. Right now, Cal Lovable is starting to think he's got a force field around him as he's trying to stay alive. Right now, he's sitting third in that number 5 Lowe's machine. Is he going to push Cam Barnes to the win? Right now, they are on the same team here. Garrett Sidnor was out, but Sidnor now sitting 5th. If Sidnor can pick up a couple more. Remember, he is yet to lose a couple races here. He's been on a hot streak. Huang Do out front. Here it comes. Cam Barnes snugging down toward the bottom. Starting to slide. Cam Barnes can't do it. Huang Do wins the race. Andrew Hennessy able to squeak away with a second-place finish, and Cam Barnes slides through the line in third. Merzlak, actually, you see him throwing out a bunch of smoke out there. 4th position for him, and Garrett Sidnor able to finish top 5. Holy cow. I want to see one more time right here at the line. What causes these guys to pile up here? Right here. Yeah, there was a little bit of a mistake. Somebody squeezed down. Notice how low Cam Barnes got. My only concern is, did Hennessy make his area? Or did he swipe Cal here? Yeah, because what is happening here? Uh-oh. Yeah, I hate to do this. Let's see what happens. Looks like Cal's snugging to the inside here. Hennessy's starting to turn right. Yeah, wow, there's a lot of movement here. A lot of movement. Yeah, and you can see both Sidnor and Hennessy just to the floor hold it. What a finish. Always is right here at the end. Never a dull time here at Talladega. All right, let's go ahead and get our final up so you can find where your driver ended up here tonight. What a race it was. Jay out there saying the carnage and the poor body, guys. Andrew Hennessy able to pull away from second, though. That was impressive, how he was able to squeak away. Alrighty. Yeah, Michael Murata. I don't see how he scored the pole, then a lap down to 20th. I think that'd probably be the most heartbreaking one out of them all. Tough race here for our guys. Alrighty. Hold on, we're going to run them down, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, everybody. Third place finisher here, Cam Barnes. Cam, you were running a heck of a race here tonight. Started outside the top 10, but there's one thing I like to point out is, yep, you may have placed third, but you also chose third lane all night tonight and never really gave up on it. Talk to me about your strategy.
Don't lift. I've been too nice on these kinds of races recently, so I felt like I was losing to people that were not caring, so I decided to not care, and I ended up getting third. So I don't know, just really decided to try it lap one, see what happened. Ended up getting such a run that basically I got the lead by lap 3 or whatever it was. And after that, I kind of made my mind up that, okay, we're running with this. So made it work a lot. Felt like I was probably the best guy up there. Felt like if anybody got in front of me, they couldn't run it the same way. So really tried hard to be that lead car on the outside and have people follow me to the front and, try to get there and be there at the end, miss all the accidents, be up front. If I wreck up front, can't really be mad about it. If I wreck in the back, I can be very upset. So that's my main strategy here. Nothing really to go for other than just, going for wins. So, just was trying very hard there at the end. Figured I'd stay with Cal there on the last restart and ended up biting me. But you live and you learn. So.
Well, not only got a little help from Cal here, but you also got a lot of help out there from Noah Joyce. Any idea why that outside lane either succeeded or failed the way it did?
I honestly just feel like people were too scared. Were not understanding kind of where their car was in relation to the wall. So would either go up too high and hit the wall, or would put it right on the cusp of sliding it in and really getting the car upset and having to lift a little bit. I feel like I was able to kind of manage it really well, and that way the guy behind me could just focus on getting the runs and just pushing on corner exit and really, really, really getting those runs down the straight, which really, really helped on the backstretch to set up the run for the tri-oval to get the lead at the line, which I think was kind of the big thing. They would gain a lot in the corners because they're taking the shorter route, all that, but they wouldn't have the same runs we would have on the exits. Was able to really, really push that and really just put pressure on a lot of guys that probably have been really comfortable. Guys like Hennessy and everybody like that to make mistakes and everything like that. And that's kind of the goal of my goal of this racing was just kind of to shake things up a little bit and kind of hopefully help Luke out a little bit. But yeah, unfortunately he got taken out in that last incident. But we were really working well together there, and hopefully gonna get a 1-2 at the end. But yeah, all in all, just really was just trying to play a completely different role this race and see what happens. And really, if I wrecked out, I wrecked out. It really didn't matter at that point.
Well, I was going to say, you have been missing here for a little bit. I mean, does this mean we'll see you for Texas?
I hope so. Currently, it's just, extracurriculars have been kind of tough on me. So I had decided to really, I was really not interested in racing until finally about, 10 or so minutes before the race. And here I am sitting here talking to you. So, it is what it is. It's race season coming up, so we're all hands on deck right now. So long hours.
Awesome. Well, Cam, congratulations on your third place finish. Go and give me a shout out for people out here watching, the sponsors on the car, buddy, and we'll let you get you away.
Yeah, big thanks to everybody who watches the streams. I know you guys don't get enough recognition here too in the booth, but I appreciate you guys watching. I go back and watch sometimes when I make mistakes or get wrecked by people to get people's opinions on things. So really good fun. Yeah, everybody in the JPR gang, the BRE and all the Alliance teams there, we worked well together tonight. We were there at the end, had stops, Scott, Garrett, Luke, Will when he was in the race, Cal, and John. Fuck, I forgot John, but John. Everybody in that group, that was really fun working with them. It's always fun working with them, and we'll win a couple of these at one point if we just stop having late race cautions. We would be undefeated at these tracks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, there always seems to be an ill-timed caution. I would say, I don't think Hennessy had a chance until that caution came out. He was looking about 9 seconds off before he found you guys, and I mean, once you clump everybody back together, it was anybody's race rather than it just being squeezed down to the last 8. Cam, congratulations on your finish, buddy, and hopefully we'll see you in the next coming weeks.
All right, I'm going to try to be there on Texas. I hope to see you guys then, and hopefully we can talk more before the season's end.
Oh, yeah, that would be great, especially since we're in the playoffs. See you, Cam.
Thank you.
All right, man, oh, man. Douglas, we'll leave you to the winner here. I'm going to grab a hold of Andrew Hennessy and get his take on the on this race. Andrew, pretty quiet here tonight. We haven't seen you in quite some time. Talk to me about this race.
Yeah, the race was interesting. In the top 5 for most of it, and then I messed up on pit road a little bit. But luckily I got lucky on that last restart and found a gap and ended up second, I reckon, which was lucky.
Man. Dude, this entire race, I would say, did you check yourself out of the race before that last caution came out?
Yep. I kind of figured there'd be a caution, though. But I thought at best I could get like a top 10 after that. But then coming to the white, I saw like 2-3 guys in the second lane. They were doing this like most of the race, were drifting up into like the third lane. I'm like, I'm not going to follow them. I'm just sticking there. If they turn in front of me, well, we're all wrecking. I don't really care. And they gave me the gap barely and gave me into the top 5, and then on the last lap they all just kind of wrecked in front of me, and unfortunately the leader did not get spun in that, but if he did I would have won, which would have been awesome, but it was close.
I mean, talk about coming back, man. You've been on been kind of missing like Cam Barnes here in the past couple of races. Haven't seen the 16 car out here, man, but a lot of guys had been pushing and shoving out here all race. And I want to get your take, how do you stay out of trouble out there or find somebody who looks like they can handle the race car without taking you out at the same time?
I think it's more just like racing with these guys more and more. You kind of understand who's a good plate racer and who struggles a little bit more. This car, like, you could push, but if you really slam somebody, like what you would do in like a next gen car, it shoots the car right or left depending on where you hit them on the bumper. So you definitely have to hit people square, and if you don't, you're just gonna spin. Like we saw some wrecks happen like that. So it's more just figuring out who's a good plate racer, who can actually take the pushes, who can receive the pushes well too. I know Cal, he was pretty good. I had trouble hooking up with Cam on the outside because he kept drifting up half a lane sometimes, and I didn't like that because then the 52 kept trying to go to my inside and make it free. Luke was a really good pusher also, so I try to stick with those guys, but I know they have teammates that they're working with each other, so I was more just on my own trying to just hopefully they all reckon I win. Basically, what's my
Of course,
goal?
man.
But,
That's everybody's MO. You always want everybody else to wreck.
yeah.
Well, coming away with a second place finish after quite some time away, will we see you end up returned back for the Texas run next week?
Maybe. Let's see what I'm doing next Thursday. I was just available at least this Thursday night, which hasn't happened lately, obviously. Um, so hopefully, maybe that their Dash series on Tuesday too. I saw they started that, but I haven't had a chance to do that either. So maybe.
You don't have to lie. You took off work because you said it. You saw it was Talladega. You came. You had to be here.
I actually didn't even work tonight.
Oh my gosh.
I got lucky.
All right, Andrew, congratulations on your second place finish here, man. What a race it was, and you were able to stick it out. And I think a late race caution, that was your life preserver here tonight. So great job, buddy, and go ahead and give me a shout out to people out here watching and sponsors on the car.
Yeah, everybody. I think everybody who shows up to this league every week, it's fun racing these guys. All the admins who put up with everything. You guys for doing the broadcast, and then Kevin James and the Queen that's on my car. That's the reason I make it so fast.
Sweet. You are the man. Andrew Hennessy, congratulations, buddy, and we'll hopefully we'll see you in the next coming weeks.
Yep, I'll see you guys.
Oh, yeah. All right. And that should do it for Andrew Hennessy. Douglas, are you ready? Are you ready? Is Huang Do ready?
Yeah, he should be ready.
All right, good. All right, well, let's make sure this dude's ready. Let's get her going. It looks like you've linked up with the 06 machine there in the Ford. Go ahead and talk to him, buddy. Let her rip.
Yeah, and right now we are catching up with our race winner tonight, Huang Do. Huang, let me tell you, it was a race and a half to just come towards the front and the back, but you were staying majority in the front for most of the race. Tell us, how was your race overall?
Yeah, I thought it went pretty smoothly for what it was worth. Didn't have too many hiccups, just chilling in I guess the front half of the pack there, and pretty much the front whole race. But if anything else, pit entry during that, I believe that those pit stops at the end there were really hectic and almost really ended our race. But thankfully that went our way, and somehow we pulled it off.
It definitely went your way indeed. Now, I want to end up going back to the caution that happened on lap 20. We know that there was probably maybe strategy call that was going to be involved in that. But tell me, did you have a certain strategy that you were following tonight, or did that caution mess up your strategy at all? I mean, what was the game plan overall?
Absolutely no strategy coming into this, to be honest with you. Just running out, just hopefully run out the car, out all the fuel out of the car, and then pit in. But that caution definitely changed up a few things, especially making that last pit stop very late into the race there, which made it pretty interesting.
Definitely made it very interesting indeed. And what we're going to be having interesting is now we are coming into the playoff races now. We're leaving Talladega in the rearview mirror, and we are going to be heading to Texas for our next big race. Tell us, are you going to be at the Texas race? Would we be expecting you at all?
Very likely not. I got school in the way, so.
Oh, well, that's all right. Juan, give us your shout outs.
I don't got anyone, so yeah, I'm just thankful to be here.
Oh man, you got to have somebody out there that you got to thank.
I don't know. Nope.
Dang, not even Ohio State. Dang, dude. Holy cow! All right, man. Congratulations on your win here tonight, and hopefully we'll see you in the future.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, the Loveable Critters Company 300,000 comes to an end here with the USORL series. Douglas, anything left to add before we go ahead and send everybody farewell and a good night?
It was a very good race overall. It seems like the strategy played in almost everybody's favor tonight. The big one happened tonight and collected a lot of cars. But that's all in the rearview mirror now, and we head to Texas.
All right. Joey, Jay, Natalia out there joining us. Darren, appreciate you coming in. And Stella right here at the end as you guys come in for the finale of this race. We do appreciate you guys joining us here at Simtrax Broadcasting, bringing you the USRL series here at Talladega. We'll see you guys next week at Texas, as we are only three races away from season ending. But until then, be well, be safe, be kind. We'll see all you guys next time.